Hello and welcome to the lesson. So today I'm going to show you how to play Blackbird by the Beatles, and this is a really nice little acoustic guitar piece. And the interesting thing about this song is it sounds more difficult than it actually is. In actual fact, it's quite simple to learn and it's quite easy to remember. And if you haven't been playing guitar very long, then I really recommend this piece to you because I think you'll be able to pick it up quickly and remember it easily. So let me demonstrate what I'm going to show you in this lesson. It's going to sound like this. Okay, it's really nice, isn't it? And in actual fact, the shapes are easy to remember, and what we're going to focus on mostly is the finger picking. But actually, the finger picking is the same pattern throughout the song. So once you've learned it, that's pretty much it. It's a very repetitive type song, and that is why it's easy to remember. So I'm going to show you that main verse section, and there's also a second part I'm going to show you that goes like this. Alright, so there we go. So let's begin. Right, we're going to start using our third finger on the 6th string at fret 3. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is pluck the 6th string with your thumb, but at the same time I want you to pluck the 2nd string with your first finger like this. So the 6th string's at fret 3 and the 2nd string's open. Now once you pluck them both, I want you to pluck the 3rd string with your thumb. Like that, okay? So pluck them both, and then the 3rd string open. Excellent. Now we're going to put our first finger on the 2nd string at fret 1, and I want you to pluck the 5th string and 2nd string. So just to make that clear, the 5th string is open obviously, and then pluck the 3rd string open using the thumb. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to do this shape. I want you to hold down the 5th string at fret 2 and put a finger on the 2nd string at fret 3. Now you'll notice that I'm using my little finger. You can use your 3rd finger if you want to, or even your middle finger, whatever's most comfortable for you. But I'm going to use my little finger in this song. Now pluck strings 5 and 2, both together, and then pluck the 3rd string. So let me demonstrate this from the start. It should sound like this. Excellent. So now what I want you to do is come all the way up the neck onto the 5th string at fret 10, and then use your little finger to go onto the 2nd string at fret 12, like that. Now what I want you to do is pluck both those strings, and then pluck the 3rd string open, and then pluck the 2nd string again on its own, and then pluck the 5th string on its own, and then the 2nd string on its own, and then the 3rd string again on its own. Okay? Alright? Now if you need to pause the video and just look at the tab at the bottom of the screen, then I suggest you do that. You know, I really encourage you to take your time and make sure you've got it right. So let me demonstrate that little picking pattern that we just did. It should sound like this. And I want you to do that twice, like this. There we go. So if we join that together from the start in slow motion. Excellent. And you can hear the song starting to emerge now, can't you? So the next part of this song goes like this. Put your first finger on the 5th string at fret 3 and put your other finger on the 2nd string at fret 5. Now give them both a pluck, strings 5 and 2. And then the 3rd string open. Good. Now we're going to change. We're going to use the middle finger to play the 5th string at fret 4. And it's important that you use your middle finger. And put your first finger on the 1st string at fret 3. Give them both a pluck, strings 5 and 1. And then the 3rd string open. You'll notice by now that the 3rd string is always open in amongst whatever else we're doing. Alright, I hope that makes sense. It's kind of like a droning note that's just consistent throughout the song. Right, now what we're going to do is the 5th string at fret 5 and the 2nd string at fret 7. Give them both a pluck. and then the third string. Now we're going to do a similar thing to what we did a second ago. Middle finger on fret 6 this time, we're further up the neck, and the first finger on the first string at fret 5. So give both those strings a pluck. Make sure you are plucking the 5th and 1st string at that point, and then pluck the 3rd string on the end. Okay, so let me demonstrate those last few shapes. We've got this. Cool, right. So the next one, 5th string at fret 7 and the 2nd string at fret 8. And we're going to do, if you remember the pattern that we did up here earlier, it's the same picking pattern. So let me explain. Pluck the 5th and 2nd string together, and then the 3rd string, and then the 2nd string on its own, and then the 5th string, 2nd string, and then the 3rd string. Okay? So that's exactly the same as the one we did earlier. So it should sound like this. Excellent. Keep that shape there, but move your first finger down a fret. So the first finger is on the 5th string at fret 6 now, but the other finger remains on the 2nd string at fret 8. And do the same picking pattern. Okay, let's keep going, and then I'll play through it in slow motion in a minute. So just bear with me and just follow what I'm showing you. I don't expect you to memorize it instantly. You know, you're probably going to have to watch the video several times and practice it lots in order to be able to do that. Right, so the next shape is the 5th string at fret 5 and the 2nd string at fret 7. Give them both a pluck, and then the 3rd string. And then we're going to do this shape. Middle finger on the 5th string at fret 4. We've done this already. And the first finger on the 1st string at fret 3. Pluck them both, and then the 3rd string. And then we're going to do this. 5th string at fret 3, 2nd string at fret 5. Okay, just make sure you got that right. And then do the longer picking pattern, the one that goes like this. It's the same as what we did earlier in terms of the picking pattern. So if you want to look at the tab at the bottom of the screen and make sure you got that right, then that's fine. And then what we're going to do is keep the first finger where it is on fret 3, but move the other finger down a fret, so it's on the 2nd string at fret 4, and do the same picking pattern. Okay, and now move them both down a fret. So we've got the 5th string at fret 2 and the 2nd string at fret 3. Same picking pattern. And now it gets a bit easier. We're just going to play the 2nd string at fret 2. And what happens is we're going to use the 5th string open. So I still want you to pluck strings 5 and 2. But obviously you're just holding down the one note. And then move that finger down one more fret. But this time, I want you to pluck the 4th and 2nd string. Like that. And then pluck the 3rd string as usual. So I want you to do the same picking pattern, but this time plucking strings 4 and 2. I hope that makes sense. All right, so that was quite a lot to cover in one go. So what I want to do is demonstrate all of that right from the start in slow motion. So it should sound like this. And do that again. Excellent. And now the second part, which is this. Excellent, I hope that makes sense. And I've said it once already, but I'll say it again. Pause the video and learn each section bit by bit. That's the way I did it. It took me a long time. I practiced this song for weeks and weeks in order to get it sounding smooth when I first learned it, all right? So now what happens is we return to the very original shape that we did, which was just a 6th string at fret 3. But I want you to do that other picking pattern, the slightly longer picking pattern, and you're using the 6th string and the 2nd string, and then the 3rd string, like this. Okay, hope that makes sense. So that is actually the main, that's what I call the verse section of the song. All right. Now what they do is a small bridge that goes like this. they just stick that in there between the first verse and the second verse. It's very simple. It's 5th string at fret 3 and the 2nd string at fret 5. Pluck them both, and then the 3rd string, and then play the 5th string at fret 2 and the 2nd string at fret 3. Pluck them both, and then the 3rd string, and then 2nd string at fret 2. You recognise all this already because we basically did it just now. So put your first finger on the 2nd string at fret 2 and do the full picking pattern. So that's the one where we go like this. And then move down to fret 1. And do you remember we swap now, so the root note is now the 4th string. So it'll sound like this. Like that. Okay, and then finish on the first shape, which when I say that I mean the 6th string at fret 3. So that little section will go like this. There, it should be nice and clear. I think I've explained it quite thoroughly for you. Right, so what happens is they go around the whole verse section again, right from the start, you know, the first and the second part that I showed you. But once they go round, they don't do that little bridge that I just showed you. They don't play that again. What happens, they do a different part. So we can call this, let's call it part 3, all right? Just so it makes sense. It goes like this. Right, so that's the 5th string at fret 8 and the 2nd string at fret 10. Just pluck them both and the 3rd string, and then play the 5th string at fret 7 and the 2nd string at fret 8, and pluck the same again. And then play the 5th string at fret 5 and the 2nd string at fret 6. And then the 5th string at fret 3, 2nd string at fret 5. And then what we're going to do is move down. So we're on the 5th string at fret 1 and the 2nd string at fret 3, but we're going to do the longer picking pattern. And then move back up 2 frets. So we're back up to fret 3 and fret 5. So that'll sound like this. And then it kind of does it again, but it's slightly different. We start off the same. So that's the same, and then we go down to this shape, which is the same. But what happens then is we play the 2nd string at fret 2, and we do that little pattern, you know, the one with where we do it with the 5th string open, like this. And then, same as we did earlier, we step down onto fret 1, and we use the 4th string open. Okay, so if we join all that together, the part 3, it should sound like this. And it goes back into the start of another verse, and it repeats the whole thing round again, part 1, 2 and 3 as we've called it, like this. Part 2. And then it goes into part 3, the bit that we just learned a moment ago. Okay, so it's a very repetitive song, you know, and also, I want you to remember that when you downloaded this lesson, you've also got a PDF document. And if you print that out, or at least double click on it and have a look at it, and I've written the sequence of the whole song, so you can see exactly when to play what part in what order, all right? So the purpose of the video really is for me to demonstrate each section to you. And then the purpose of the PDF document is it contains all the tab and the diagrams, so you can see how to play the whole song from start to finish, all right? So what happens is then eventually, do you see what I did then? That was the very first section, but we got up here and he repeats the little picking pattern round and round, and he kind of just slows down and gently just stops, and there's a break in the song and there's a little Blackbird tweeting, and eventually he goes back in and plays this. So what that is a simple little thing. I'll explain it quickly. It's this one, and you recognise that, and this one, you already know this. That's the same as the first part, obviously. But what he does, he goes to this shape, 5th string at fret 3, 2nd string at 5, and then back to the previous shape, 5th string at 2, 2nd string at 3, and then 5th string open and the 2nd string at 2. But then when he steps down to fret 1 on the 2nd string, he plays the full picking pattern, like that. And then he goes back in and plays the whole verse round one more time. And eventually, when he gets to the end of the verse, and if you remember correctly, the verse finishes with this section. And what he does is just repeats that last little section a couple of times, like this. And once more. And you can just finish actually on a G chord. That'll sound nice. You play the 6th string at fret 3, the middle finger on the 5th string at fret 2, and just put your little finger on the 1st string at fret 3 and give it a strum. And you can finish there. It's a fabulous little piece, isn't it? And I think I've given you a pretty thorough explanation. So as usual, what I recommend is you watch this video several times and be really patient with yourself, and you know, and practice the tab and practice the finger picking and get it all sounding nice and smooth. And don't expect to be able to play it perfectly within 5 minutes. You know, like I say, it took me hours and hours of practice in order to make it sound nice, and it'll probably be the same for you as well. So good luck. I hope you've enjoyed learning this song. I've certainly enjoyed teaching you. So I look forward to seeing you soon in one of the other video guitar lessons, and we can learn more songs together. And in the meantime, if you want to email me, then feel free to do so, because I love hearing from people. So thanks for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.